Welcome to Stories Behind the Wealth, the show where high-earning professionals discover the real-life moments behind financial success with your host, Gaffar Chowdhury. For over 17 years, he's helped successful individuals and business owners navigate wealth with clarity and confidence. On this show, we go beyond the spreadsheets, sharing the turning points, mindset shifts, and personal stories that shape how people manage money and life. Money talks. We listen, and what we hear just might change the way you look. I'm RJ Malik, producer of this podcast, and I'd like to welcome the host of Stories Behind the Wealth, Gaffar Chowdhury. Gaffar, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what drives you personally and professionally?
Thanks, RJ. I'm very excited to get this going. Uh, as RJ mentioned, I'm Gaffar Chowdhury. I've been in the industry, financial services now for about 17 years. I've been fortunate enough to partner with some of the top financial services companies in the country, and learn from some industry leaders, experts, people that I consider mentors. And I'm super excited to launch this podcast. I've been looking forward to this since the beginning of the year. And what motivated me to kind of start this was just my experience being in the industry. Stories behind the wealth, as our title kind of insinuates. There's a lot to the topic of money, right? One of the things I like to say, kind of jokingly, but also in all seriousness, is money talks, right? Well, here we want to highlight, what money says, right? And how professionals that have gotten successful, how have they grown their success and got to where they are? I'm looking forward to hosting friends on this podcast, clients, and then just people that I admire and have looked upon as mentors over the years from all over the, professional circles, as far as consulting, legal, medical, government contracting, technology services. So yeah, super excited.
So there's going to be a wide variety of topics and guests.
Exactly. Most of the discussions are going to be sharing their success stories, right? How did they get to where they are today? Whether they have, grown a business and sold it and exited, or in the process of, launching a business that's bringing tremendous value, or will be bringing tremendous value. So yeah.
Always like to hear about how people got started in a different industry and their path to where they end up. I find it fascinating, and I'm really looking forward to talking with you and listening to your guests. So this is pretty exciting. Uh, what does district wealth strategies stand for, and how you serve your clients and unique perspective you bring to the financial conversations?
Yeah. So District Wealth Strategies, I started the firm in 2022. At that point, I was probably 14 years in the industry. And the inception of the firm was, just taking all the things I'd learned at various financial services institutions over the years and bringing everything together and providing value with financial education in mind, right? I think our industry in general does a pretty good job, not in a good way, in throwing jargon out there where the everyday individual is like, hey, what the heck are you talking about?
Right.
Right. It's difficult for them to grasp what we're in the trenches doing every single day. Right. So one of my, I feel like, responsibilities, right, as an advisor, is to make it as simplified as possible. And our bread and butter is working with busy professionals and business owners, right? Busy people, from my experience, right? They don't have time, right? So how can the time that we can spend with them, how can we bring things down to a very layman's level? And that's not in an offensive way, but just to simplify it. And I think, matter of fact, I know that's why people work with us.
Well, and I agree, because I'm not a money person. As we talked about, my background, I spent decades in radio, and now I'm doing podcasting. I don't deal with money on a regular basis. That's just not my interests. So I need a person like you to guide me because I'm not up on things. Retirement, where I should be putting my money and things like that. I don't have time to do that for a number of reasons. And I think happens with everybody. Businesses and careers and just industries are changing so quickly now. I'm a little bit older than you, and things seem to in the last 2 decades have just seemed to have taken off as far as industries that are just sprouting up and how people are doing business, conducting business. I mean, let's face it, uh, 20 years ago, who heard of Amazon? And now look. So a person like you, to me, is incredibly important because I don't have, as you pointed out, I don't have time. I have no time to be looking at how my money is performing, So, and the best advice I got from, my wife and I have a financial advisor ourselves, is not to look at the stock market, not to pay attention every day. You just have to look over a period of time and be patient. And going up and down is not a bad thing.
Yeah. I think that there's been several studies. Investor behavior is a big reason why a lot of portfolios that individuals manage or have managed and they give a lot of direction underperform, right? Because
Yeah.
they react, right, to things that happen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard not to.
I was saying, yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons. I agree. It's one of the biggest reasons to have an advisor, because a lot of what we do is hand holding and making sure that our clients aren't jumping off the ledge, right?
That's a big part of what you have to do as far as your client relationship. I mean, making them feel comfortable in a world sometimes that is very chaotic. So you have to be calm all the time, no matter what's going on around you. You have to portray a very calm outlook on things.
Don't tell that to my wife.
I got it. It's between you and I. No problem. All right. So let's move on then. Talk about your team approach and how it benefits clients.
So I firmly believe that I am not, as a single individual that has 17 years of experience, I'm not a jack of all trades, right? That's why it's so important to me to not only have an internal team of support staff, of uh, of industry experts, people that analyze portfolios, that help curate, strategies, whether it's investments, insurance, or financial planning. We also rely heavily on external partners, right? And what I mean by that is accounting, tax preparation, estate planning, or any type of legal services like business attorneys, and also folks that are in the property and casualty space. For our clients that are making meaningful income and they have many times meaningful assets or sizable businesses, they're relying upon me to be the financial quarterback to their overall financial picture, right? So we're bringing in our internal team, obviously, to help support the client relationship and make sure things are accomplished like we expect and the client expects. And then also the external team, right? So we have trusted resources all over the country that I've personally worked with for years, and that I've gotten a chance to know, and I know the work that they do and the value that they bring. So the team is incredibly important to us, and I really believe that without the team and the folks that helped me along the way, I wouldn't be here.
Okay. So if you run into a situation and you are sitting there going, okay, this is not in my wheelhouse, you can just pick up the phone and find someone who can get the right answer.
1,000%.
Okay. Teamwork is great. All right. Let's just move on a little bit and let's talk about the podcast itself. What are your goals for the podcast? What was your thought process as far as launching this?
Yeah. So selfishly, I'm going to say that the podcast is really a learning opportunity for me, right? I thrive on hearing other people's success stories or even challenges and understanding how did they navigate various things that they came across, right? Positive and negative. So I'm really looking forward to highlighting those to the extent that my guests will allow, and just learning from them, and hopefully the audience, the folks that are listening, will get to benefit from them, from hearing those guests and my story in whatever they're doing, right? Whether they're a employee of a corporation, or they're a business owner or aspiring business owner, or individuals that are in retirement that have had tremendous success before they retired.
So your clientele varies. You just sort of were going through, some of the people you work with. So it doesn't matter what you do, you can help them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. My clientele, I would say nowadays, is more on the established professional
Hmm.
side. They've
Sure.
been doing what they're doing for a number of years. They're making strong income. They may not have strong assets yet because they're really in that accumulation phase. But I've never been one to go pursue a client or work with a client simply because of the number of assets they have, right?
Right.
It's really about the relationship, and we really look at income under management versus assets under management, right? Because if we work together and we did a really great job for you, you're going to have the net worth, you're going to have the assets. So I'm not overly concerned about that in the initial stage.
Okay. And do you then get a lot of referrals? Is that a big part of your business?
That's the Absolutely, that's the livelihood of our practice, right? When we do good work for clients, they can't, wait to tell others about it. It's typically their business partners, their colleagues, sometimes their employees, and family and friends.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Very good. Now, your values around money, leadership, impact, how is that going to impact the show's direction? So just give us a little bit of a background on that.
Yeah. My parents came to the United States when I was 5 years old. I grew up in a blue collar household. And, frankly, my parents really didn't save growing up, mainly because they didn't have the means to, right? Their primary focus was putting food on the table. And both my parents worked 2 to 3 jobs just to make it happen. And I was just having this conversation with my wife somewhat recently. I can't remember a single thing that my sister and I needed that my parents didn't get for us,
Hmm.
right? So for folks that were blue collar, they worked incredibly hard to just make things happen, right? So what that instilled in me was just the work ethic and like the never give up mentality, right? And I think that's what really motivated me to not only start this podcast but also hear other people's stories, around what moves them, what drives them, why are they where they are, or how are they where they are, right? Did that
So
answer your question?
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
so watching your parents just make their way from where they came from to this country and how they progressed seem to have inspired you to do what you're doing now as far as helping people with their wealth.
Tremendously. Yeah, yeah. Financial education was something my parents didn't have, right? And I think, in our culture, the South Asian culture, it was taboo to talk about money,
Really?
right? So now I come across individuals that have had the very similar upbringing where they didn't really talk about money, but they're working professionals that are doing very well and they're successful, and they're looking for an avenue where they can relate to someone that will help them better understand money management, and then ultimately make them successful when it comes to retirement and just lifestyle, right? Taking care of and doing things that they want to do. I'm a strong believer in charitable planning and charitable giving. That's a big part of my, personal financial plan. So that's a lot of also what I talk about with clients in regards to transferring wealth or legacy planning, or making sure that organizations that they really care about and have an affinity to are taken care of.
So it's safe to say that your mom and dad were very influential as far as your career direction.
Absolutely, absolutely. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't the upbringing that I had. I'm not going to lie or sugarcoat. It was a tough upbringing because we went through some turbulence, right, along the way. But I think that's made me who I am and have the grit that I have and the work ethic that I have.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, what what can people who are tuning into this podcast, what can they expect in future episodes?
Future episodes, I think you're going to hear from some really successful speakers and guests that I've gotten to know. Over the years that I've been in this industry. I'm fortunate enough to have some clients and friends that are doing very, very well. I'm looking forward to highlighting them, learning from them, and having the listeners also kind of understand how they got to where they are and what motivated them, what their background is. So it's going to be an exciting series. I'm looking forward to doing this many times. Yeah, stay tuned.
I take it you like to talk to people and their backgrounds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, talking to individuals on a daily basis, that's a big part of my job, right?
Okay. Is there anything that I have not asked you about that you want to share with us, or did we cover everything you were hoping to cover?
No, I think we did. I'm again super excited. I know there's a lot of different podcasts out there, so I'm hopeful that folks are going to tune in, and we're excited to get this launched. I'm looking forward to sharing my experiences and also the experiences of my guests.
All right, Gaffar. How can people contact you?
You can reach us on our website, www.districtwealthstrategies.com. My email is also gaffar.chowdhury@districtwealthstrgs.com. And then when you go to our website, there's also a contact number and all that kind of stuff.
Thanks, Gaffar, and thank you for tuning in to Stories Behind the Wealth. Be sure to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. If you're a busy, accomplished professional looking to build confidence in your financial future, visit us at districtwealthstrategies.com or call 202-759-8524 to learn how our team can help. Because money talks, we listen. And the stories are just getting started. For Gaffar Chowdhury, I'm RJ Malik, and we hope you'll join us for the next Stories Behind the Wealth podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to Stories Behind the Wealth. Be sure to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. If you're a busy, accomplished professional or a business owner looking to build confidence in your financial future, visit us at districtwealthstrategies.com or call 202-759-8524 to learn how our team can help. Because money talks, we listen, and the stories are just getting started. The views and opinions expressed are those of the program participants and are not necessarily those of MML Investor Services, LLC. The material is not intended as recommendations appropriate for you. You should strongly consider seeking advice from your own investment specialist. Gaffar Chowdhury is a registered representative of and offers securities through MML Investor Services, LLC, member SIPC, OSJ 530 Gaither Road, Suite 350, Rockville, Maryland, 20850, phone number 301-355-5800. District Wealth Strategies is not a subsidiary or an affiliate of MML Investor Services, LLC.